share first.
Yes, please, no problem.
Mermaid Federation International is dedicated to promote mermaid activities, develop mermaid safety standard, and raise ocean conservation awareness. MFI has 4 missions: raise awareness to the ocean conservation, promote mermaid activities and certification system, research and advise safety guidance, and develop scientific mermaid training and technical standards. MFI is an organization for all the mermaids in the world with members from various countries. MFI development includes mermaid performance, mermaid instructors, and mermaid development center. MFI education system include 4 major courses: M0 Mermaid Experience, M1 Basic Mermaid, M2 Advanced Mermaid, M3 Master Mermaid.
Good evening, my fellow divers and all the audience from the all the audience from around the world. It's really pleasure to meet you all in such kind of activities and such kind of event. Is such an honor not only for me but also for my country. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Aung, and I'm from the Myanmar. Maybe you all know about Myanmar already, or maybe you are not. But in a few moments later, I will explain where is Myanmar, and why you should dive in Myanmar. So, first of all, I would like to present my underwater videography, so you can imagine what will be like diving in Myanmar first. Enjoy the video. Where is Myanmar? Where is Myanmar?
Well, I think we have got a little bit of a technical glitch back end. Yeah, Pierre was actually introducing us on, the whole title is talking about diving in Myanmar. So, right. So a little bit about Pierre, just now when we actually supposed to actually introduce him. Yeah, he actually started his career as a photographer in 2009, right? Focusing on landscapes and travel photography. So after falling in love with the ocean, he became the very first underwater photographer of Myanmar in the digital camera age. He has also bagged actually several awards from various competitions such as Nat Geo and Smithsonian. And it was also published in many local and international medias. So, and he is also the founder of IDIVE Myanmar, and which is the gateway for scuba diving trips, equipment, and anything related to diving in Myanmar. So, Pierre, can you tell us a little bit more about, diving in Myanmar? Perhaps we can actually wait for the video to play later on. So we actually start our conversation first.
So,
can you hear me? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So before it's okay. There's a little bit technical error in the back end. So first of all, I would like to express where is Myanmar first, because I'm hearing myself.
Sorry, hang on now.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to express where is Myanmar first, because I'm hearing myself.
I think there's a bit of a latency here. Just a second.
Yeah. Should I start or should I stop?
Yeah, I think you can start. Wow, incredible video.
Thanks. so I will start my presentation.
Yes, please.
So let me start with my PowerPoint. I will share the screen.
Yep.
Okay. So today I would like to talk about the scuba diving in our country, Myanmar. So our country is before it was known as the Burma, and then now we are called it Myanmar. So for the people who doesn't know about our country, where it's located. So Myanmar is located between India, China, Thailand, and the Laos. There's a technical problem. I'm hearing myself.
You're hearing yourself?
Yeah.
I think there's a latency behind it. Just hang on for a while. Perhaps you can just continue talking because we can hear you very clearly.
Really?
Yes.
So okay. So here, this is a map. So you will know where our country is located. And then
Yeah, sorry. Is it maybe you can switch off your Facebook?
Facebook?
Yes,
Your
yeah,
Facebook?
because I think it's playing from your Facebook. Yeah.
That's where the problem. Okay.
Okay. So after that, it should be okay.
Okay. Right.
Let's wait a second. Yeah.
You have to off the Facebook sound. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now
Okay,
we can
much better
continue.
now.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot better.
Yeah.
So now you know where our country is located. It's actually is in the Southeast Asia area. So this is where our country is located. Next, I would like to present about our country. The official name of our country is the Republic of the Union of Myanmar. And we have more than 2,600 square miles for the total land area. And we have the borderline of the over 4,000 miles. And then the most important part we are interested in is we have over 1,384 coastal line miles. So that's a very big area for the sea. So we have a lot of sea area to dive for the scuba divers. Currently, our capital is known as the Naypyidaw, and we have the population about over 53 million people. This is overall about our country. We have a 7 division and 7 state. So you really won't like to know about the geographic of our country. This is just overall. So let me go to the next presentation. So we have so many interesting places in our country. We due to the please look at our map. Our country is a very long map. We have a very long map. So we have a cold area to the islands, especially when at the upper part of our country, you can even see the ice mountain. And if you are not only a scuba diver, but also the climber, you can come and enjoy in our country. We have so many famous places in our country. Maybe some of you already know about the Bagan, Yangon, Jaitio, Inle, Inwa, Ngapali. That's most of them are the favorite spot for the photographers all over the world. So it will be really great for you, not only scuba diving in our country, but also visiting and taking some photos of our country for you and for your hobby. So next, as I mentioned above, we have over 1,300 coastal line miles. So the very most important thing today I would like to present you about is about the Pyiet archipelago. We also know as the Magui archipelago. It depends on the Luga Thames and the Indonesian Thames. So we call it Pyiet, and the Indonesian call it the Magui. So where is the Magui archipelago? I will explain you. So in the area of Magui archipelago, we have more than 800 islands, and we have a lot of dive sites. Especially, there are more than 20 famous dive sites in this area, such as the Black Rock and Western Rocky and the Fan Forest, Shark Cave, etc. And the most interesting part is that we have hundreds of not well-known dive sites. I will tell you about that later. And then there are so many potential dive sites that we are not discovered yet. So we can discover a lot of dive sites in this area that will be really interesting for some adventure guys. So okay, how can we go to the Marguerite Archipelago and where should we live? Don't worry about that. We have more than 10 resorts in that area. So I'll also mention the resort later. So not only for the scuba diving and the scuba dive center, we also have a liveaboat service in our country, and the sea and the visibility of the sea in that Marguerite Archipelago is amazing. You will know it when you dive it. So it's amazing. Most of the area are really attached, really virgin. There are so many virgin islands, and the area is totally pristine. So you will be really love enjoying your trip. So what can you expect? What can you expect? What will you see in this area and this your scuba diving trip? Don't worry. You will see from the smallest animal in the sea to the largest animal. As for example, whale, maybe, whale shark, 90%, manta ray, 90%. I can guarantee you and I can assure you for one thing. So for the advanced diver, so this area is not only for the beginner diver, it's really good for the advanced diver also, because as you've seen in the map, there are so many places all over the Marguerite Archipelago. For example, look at the Black Rock. It's almost really far from the coastline. So the current in the Black Rock will be really nice for drift diving. So this is about the Marguerite Archipelago, and you don't have to worry about the short of the dive site. We have so many dive sites, almost over 100 dive sites. So you don't need to worry about that. So you will see the smallest animal to not only this one is also really small. You guys all maybe already know that it's the size of my half of my tent knees. So this will be really, really small. From the smallest creatures to the most favorite creature to the largest real fish in the world. Of course, whale shark. Not only whale shark, but also the manta. Of course, there are specific season to see such kind of beautiful creatures in our sea, but most of the time they live in that area for sure. So it's a great opportunity if you had never seen such kind of creature, or if you really want to see and you want to make sure that you will see it, please come to Myanmar. So how about not only the sea animals, sea creatures, maybe you can study and you can take a photograph of our famous Salon, is also known as Morgan people. It's one of our ethnics in our country. They have, or as you guys already know about it, they have an incredible ability in the water. They can live more than 5 minutes to 10 minutes in the water. They can walk in the water. Such amazing handler. So maybe not only for the creatures, you can also make some photographs and some documentary about these amazing people. So, okay, now I would like to present you about the dive sites. So the Black Rock is one of the most famous dive site, not only in our country, but also in Southeast Asia, especially from the especially divers from the Thailand. They know about it. Black Rock is really amazing because as I mentioned before, it's really far from the beach, from the coast. So this like a cleaning station for the big animal like whale shark and manta rays. So you will, for the people who doesn't know about the cleaning station, I will explain a little bit. Well, for the people who already know what is cleaning station, please excuse me. So cleaning station is like their clinic, their clinic to recover their damage and their diseases. So these animals used to live in the very deep area of the sea. So sometimes they have fight each other. Sometimes other big animal bite to them, and sometimes they scratch themselves with the rocks. So they have to cure that infection, that wound. So to cure that kind of wound, they came to the cleaning station where the Black Rock is. At the cleaning station, when they arrive to the cleaning station, there are so many small fish. They are trying to they try to cure it. It's by nature. How they cure it? by biting their worms. So when for example, the whale shark has a worm and he came to the cleaning station, Black Rock, then there are so many small fishes come and go to the whale shark and bite that worm. Actually, they are not biting the whale shark. Actually, they are biting the parasite and the bacteria from that worm. By biting that worm, they cure the diseases or they cure the worm by naturally. It's an amazing creature. It's a symbiotic of the creatures by to each other. So that's why the Black Rock is a really famous place to dive in our country. You will see, I can guarantee you, if you go to the Black Rock within from January to March or April, 95% to 90%, you will see whale shark or maybe manta. I can guarantee you 90 to 95%. Because as I mentioned before, it's a really nice, it's a heaven for that kind of big animal, because these animal, these fish and these creature never came to the very close to the human. So this is the best place for them to cure their disease, their wounds, and they have also a very strong current. You know it. These animals like really strong current. So it's a big spot for the scuba diving in our country. So if you would like to dive in our country, make sure you visit to the Black Rock. 100% guarantee. So another dive site which is also famous is the Western Rocky. It's named the Western Rocky. Actually, there are two dive sites in the same spot. The southern part and the northern part. There you will see that there is the two islets at the north is one of the dive site and the mainland of the dive site. This is a little bit strange. You will see the big tunnel under the water. You can go through it and you will see a lot of amazing creature inside that tunnel. Sharks, lobster, turtles, you name it, you got it, because it's a really big tunnel in the water. So this is one of my favorite dive spot, because this is one of the another very great one of the another dive site to see the whale shark or the manta, especially whale shark. The manta didn't used to camp this area a lot, but the whale shark did. I've never seen, for my own experience, I've never seen a whale shark at that area, but so many people found whale shark in that area. So if you didn't see any whale shark in the Black Rock, maybe you can expect to see in here. So don't lose your hope. So at the left side of the photo, you will see the tunnel of the Western Rocky under the main island. And these are the same turtles and the frogfish. It's a really cute and small frogfish. That's the first and the only time that I've seen frogfish ever. So I would like to present you another dive site. This dive site is amazing. It's actually, this is a Northern Island. So Northern Pinnacle is, as you know before, the Pinnacle. I cannot take the photo of the Pinnacle because it's already a sea in middle of the sea. So I take this photo for the example. So if you go to the left side of this island, you will reach to the Northern Pinnacle. It's an amazing dive site. As it's not a wall dive and it's a pinnacle, the visibility is amazing. You can see 10 to 20 to 30 meters in the water. It's amazing. For me, my very first time seeing mantas and whale shark is in that dive site. It's in 2018. I'm with Liverpool from the Renown. He went diving. And then at the beginning of the first dive, we dive into the water and we're chilling around, and we didn't expect the manta or whale shark at that moment, because this area they don't used to camp here, so we don't care about finding manta or the whale shark. It's okay. But after a few moments later, there's something big, really big, is over our head. It's like a shadow. It's a big shadow. And we think it's some kind of diver or something like that. But when we look up, we found a manta, really big manta. And we are so happy. And then the manta is disappear. And then we knew at the time, we knew that there will be a mentor, he will be short again. And so we start looking for the mentor for the 5 or 10 minutes. We didn't find anything. But later, that mentor came back again behind us, over my head, and passed me through. So at that moment, we are pretty sure that there will be a mentor, a big mentor, and we're trying to take a photo of that mentor, and we are so happy. And then another mentor came, and we are really surprised. 2 mentors in the same dive. That's finished? No, that's not all. Another mentor came. So totally 3 mentors at the same dive. And we were so happy and we feel so great at the dive site. We take the photo of the mentors or we take the videos, and we are running out of our air so quickly. As you know, we are so excited and we swim along with the mentor. So, and then because we're running out our air, so we start to beginning our we start to go to our safety stop and waiting for our time, 3 minutes stoppage time. At that moment, the whale shark came again from our right side. So you cannot imagine how we feel. You will see 3 mentors and 1 whale shark in the same dive. It's amazing experience. It's amazing experience. So Northern Pinnacle has a really great opportunity to see the mentors and whale shark because it's a pinnacle and its visibility is really good. The water temperature at there is really nice, really ideal for these creatures. So if you want to dive in our country, if you want to dive in Myanmar, don't forget the Northern Pinnacle. For the percentage, I can guarantee you 70% to 60% to see the mentor or whale shark. So another dive site is known as the fan forest. As the name already described what you can expect in this dive site. Yes, of course, there are a lot of sea fans. It's really big. It's bigger than us, and so many coral. It's also a pinnacle dive. So the current at the fan forest will be really rough for the beginner. So if you're a beginner, I don't recommend to dive in that area. But if you are advanced or intermediate diver, it will be a really great place for you. But I want to tell you that something that that area is mostly very strong current. So the visibility at the dive site will be a little bad for you. But when the current is good, it's one of another dive site where you can expect the mentor or the whale shark. Last season, my friend saw 2 whale sharks and 3 mentors in the fan forest. 2 whale sharks and 3 mentors in one dive. So that will be amazing. Unfortunately, I didn't have that kind of opportunity or chance. I'm not that lucky. So maybe you're lucky enough to see the mentor or whale shark at the dive site. So not only the big animal, I'm talking about the big animals so many times. Oh, of course, you will see the seahorse or the ghost fish at the dive site. Actually, most of our dive site has a seahorse and the ghost fish. You have so many opportunity or so many chances to see it. So that's some of the most well-known dive site in our country. This is not all. This is very few of all. So we have so many dive sites. If I tell you about the dive site in our country, it will be not enough for 45 or 50 minutes. So it will be really great if you came yourself and see yourself. Okay, now I would like to present you about the resort in this area. So of course, you want to come to the Myanmar and you want to dive in this area. You have to be a place. You need a place for yourself. So we have almost give or take 10 resorts in this area, and Myanmar Admin Resort, which is one of the well-known and one of the oldest resort in this area, is Myanmar Admin Resort. It is located on the Maclot Island. There is over 25 dive sites alone for this island, which is amazing. You see the coast in the picture. there are 1, 2, 3. There are 3 dive sites already in this area, and around the island, if you go around the island, there are more than 25 dive sites alone in this island. So this is why you should come and dive in Myanmar. These photos are all taken at that island because that island is where I started my scuba diving and where I started my underwater photography. I have a lot of memory at that island and resort. So the Nasjak, you can also expect at that island. And another resort you can rely on is the Victoria Cliff, and it is one of the best resort in this area, and it's located on the Nyaupi Island. And if you want to be more comfortable and more or less relaxed, you can choose this area because they have a lot of they have a great service and they have a lot of facilities for you, not only for to relax, but also they have more than 10 dive sites for you to offer. All of those, most of those are really amazing, and you will see a lot of fish and the corals for sure. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you will see black tip or white tip for sure. And another resort I would like to mention is the Alua Resort, which will be open very soon. It's currently not open yet, but it will be open soon, and where you can expect a lot of strange things, because this island is the only place where you can use your telephone communication. And then if you want to see the dolphin, this is the best place for you, because I've seen so many dolphins in the sea so many times, but it's a 1 out of 100 chance to see them in the open water. But for that island, maybe if you're lucky enough, you will see the dolphin, because they used to cross that area often. So percentage is like 70% you will see the dolphin if you visited it and live on that resort. So this is how beautiful our country, and this is how beautiful our dive sites. Of course, we also have some majority threat. I would like to present the threat we are facing nowadays in our sea. So you can see the ghost net are the most important problems in our sea, and they are destroying a lot of lives in vain. So you can see in this picture, there are this picture is I took 2 or 3 years ago in the Western Rocky. The ghost net catch and make the fish in vain. No, you cannot eat that fish because it's dying in the water. So this is a really big problem for our country, not only for our country, but also for the sea. These are the problems we are facing nowadays, and we are trying to fix this problem nationwide, because some of our leaders are very interested in to maintain to protect our sea. So we are working on it, but we need a lot of help from the worldwide community and the divers such as you. So it will be really great if you come and dive to our country, which by the way you dive in our country, it's helped us a lot. It helps a lot because we can raise our awareness to the whole world. So that will be great. These photos I took this photo at the South Twin Pinnacle a few years ago. The coral is covered by the ghost net, and sometimes we try to get rid of the net ourselves, but sometimes we cannot. So some of the nets are really big, and we need some technical support for sure. Yes, plastic all over the world. The whole world is talking about the plastic. And yes, we also have the problem with plastic in our sea for sure. And the cage, the abandoned cages. So these are one of the problems we are facing also. And then the most important part is that we are also facing with the we need to raise our awareness of the sea so much, because our people started to acknowledge about our sea not so long ago. So we have to educate them, and we have to let them know that catching and killing fish is not a good manner, especially for this kind of vulnerable and endangered species. We have to educate them that showing the fish makes more money than catching and killing them. So if we say that you cannot kill that kind of fish, it's not good to you, they will not listen to us because they need to make money for their living. Of course, they have a family to feed. We understand that, but we have to acknowledge them that showing the fish to the tourists will make more money than catching and killing them. So that will be a really long journey. So these are the photo of some really sad events. It actually is happening almost every day. So this is why I participate in this forum and this conference. It's because you cannot do it alone. You need a help. You need a support from all over the world. You need a support from the fellow divers, and you need a support from the other organizations. So these are the problems we are facing now. So this is my presentation, and I talk about I was really excited because this is my first time to participate in the IDIVE show, and I'm really proud to be in this event. But we really have a great dive sites, and in our country, you can dive. You can dive, and then your family can take rest very well in the resort. So you don't need to worry about your families. So this is yes, we have a beautiful places, and then we also have some ugly faces in this area. So I would like to invite you to come and dive in Myanmar. If you need any help, if you want any information, or if you want any support, please feel free to contact me. I will here to support you, or I will here to help you as possible as I can. And this is all of my presentation, and thank you. Welcome to Myanmar.
Thank you very much, Pierre. Let me just check whether if there's any questions from the audience.
Sure.
So audience on Facebook, if you are watching us live now, please do feel free to ask us any questions.
No one asking.
Everyone are too immersed in your presentation, I think.
Really? No, they are trying to understand what I'm talking about.
No, you did great. Right. Okay, no problem. I will just ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Yes. So, how long have you been diving? And what actually happens is, what has given you the thought of being the founder of Aperture 21?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a
wanted to start up a dive school or dive sites.
It's a really great question, and I really like to answer that question because it's first of all, I started to learn scuba diving in 2014. So now 2020, and I've been in scuba diving for 6 years. Very short moments, I know it. The reason I learned scuba diving is to make underwater photography. That's my main reason, and that's my focus at the time. But after learning scuba diving and being an underwater photographer for a few years, I've been there so many times, again. And then I noticed something, that this territory must be protected. If we don't give our attention to this area, these areas gonna be destroyed very soon, and we cannot get back next time. So I changed my direction at that moment. After 3 years later, after 3 years when I started scuba diving, so I have to make some awareness about our sea. To make the awareness of our sea, we have to attract the public attention first. So, I can't tell that our sea is in danger. We have to save them. We have to protect them. I cannot say that at the first moment. So I try to persuade the citizen. I try to show how our ocean, our sea is beautiful at first place. So they started to interested in this area. Oh, this is our sea. This is really beautiful. They started to know how beautiful our sea is, and they started to know how value it is. Then after that, I started to give the awareness of our sea. Yes, this is very beautiful, but we are also having this kind of situation, this kind of problem, this kind of damage. We have to protect this, we have to protect that. So I cannot do it alone. We have to be together to protect this kind of situation. It's not only for our country, it's not only for our human, it's for the whole world. The whole world is now for the sea, because the sea, the sea area in the world is larger than the land area. Everybody know about that. So the sea produces the oxygen, it circulates the oxygen. So if the sea is destroyed, we will be destroyed too, for sure. For example, we know that we have to plant, because the forests are gone. We know about that because we can see the forests are diminished. We can see that, so we know that we have to plant for our generation, for our country. But for the underwater, they don't know what happening in the water. They don't know about that. They don't see about that. So they don't know how important about that. So as a scuba diver, if I don't tell what's happening in the water, who's gonna tell it? Who's gonna tell it? So that's the reason why I try to raise the attention in our country. Frankly, my first ambition is to be an underwater photographer at first place, but I cannot do it anymore because for example, there is one famous place that I used to go every year. At the first time when I arrived there is a full of corals at the entrance of the area, full of coral. And then we have the public attention, and that area became so famous. And then so many people came and dry at that places. And then 2 or 3 years later, when I arrived there again, there are no more corals. They're totally sand. No more corals. So what I want to talk about is, this is our this is our treasure. We can enjoy them, of course. We can go and visit them. We can swim them. We can snorkeling. We can scuba dive. But we have to protect it. We have to be really educated if we want to come again. Because if you are very careless and you only think about yourself, your son or your grandson will not be see this kind of situation again in human history. That's why I tried my best.
Nice, that was a really great answer. When it comes to diving in Southeast Asia, we will always normally think about the Coral Triangle and those countries and other countries, right? And unfortunately, Myanmar is not top of the mind. What do you think this is the case?
Because it's a little give or take it is a little depends on our political situation for sure. That's a bitter truth. That's a bitter truth. But for me, for example, I told you that I used to go twice a year with a liver boat.
Yeah.
That liver boat is not from our country. We don't have any liver boat services in our country. That liver boat is from Thailand, from Renault. Of course, the owner is Burmese, Myanmar, but the business is actually running from Thailand. So because why we don't, our people, everything is related, economy, political, and most of them, the most important thing is the Margaret Archipelago, to visit Margaret Archipelago is not well known before. It's really trending after, it's really trending after 2017. So now 2020 is about 3 years, and it's a very short time. So people are actually started to think about snorkeling. So scuba diving is maybe for the next step but it's a little far away from them. And then you also know about that the scuba diving is a little bit expensive for the normal people. Equipments are expensive, services are expensive. So I hope it will be really trending in our country very soon, very soon.
Right. So are there any certain organizations or tourism boards support to promote diving in Myanmar so far?
Yeah, they are trying to support, but we have two parts. We have one part is for ecotourism, and another part is for, how do we call scuba diving. For scuba diving, they have to establish the ecotourism first.
Right.
Yeah, because this kind of activity, scuba diving, is actually in the other country, 10-year wise can start learning scuba diving, but in our country we have very few scuba divers. So because we, as I mentioned before, it's a little expensive, and then the problem is that we are now only starting to establish the ecotourism about the Margaret Archipelago. So we are not ready yet to emphasize on the scuba diving business. But I believe within 2 or 3 years, or within maybe 1 year, the trend will be in there shortly.
Cool, that's nice. So after this presentation, especially so many people are actually watching us on live, and I'm very certain that after a while, on Facebook, people will come back and watch this presentation again. And as the country's diving destination after this presentation, I'm sure it will get more popular, more tourists will visit.
I wish.
Yes, and this will definitely help to improve the tourism sectors for sure. But at the same time, this invites other problems such as pollution and marine life destruction, right? What do you foresee will happen with the increase of tourists, and how can these problems be prevented in your own opinion?
Okay. Yes, it's a good question. That's the same problem that we are having now in our country. I told you before that the area is, before the area was well known, is full of coral. When the area became famous, there are no corals or no fish anymore. So that's the problem of the good side and the bad side of the successful ecotourism. So to maintain that kind of situation, we have to follow and we have to create some rules and regulations, such as maybe everybody left the football. So look at the football field. Maybe the whole field is covered by the green grass, but the area where the goalkeeper stay, there are less grass than the other area. Why? Because so many people used to stand over there. The corals are like that. If we oftenly get there over again, over again, there will be no more coral anymore. So what we should do in the long term is we have to restrict and we have to rotate the area for the visitor, for the tourists to come and visit. For example, we have the island 1, island 2, island 3, island 4, island 5. You can visit these 5 islands in this year. And then it will be closed for next year. You have to go and visit to the other island. Don't come to this island. So it will give the time for the nature to recure himself. The coral will be back, the fish will be back. For example, the beach from the Thailand, the famous beach from the Thailand, when coronavirus, they closed it. They closed last year. They closed it because it's a really popular and so many tourists, and they closed it and they opened the other beaches to visit. After 1 or 2 years later, even the shark came back to the beach. It's amazing. It's how nature cures himself. So it's a good process. We have to follow that step for sure, because as I mentioned before, we have over 800 islands and a lot of dive sites in this area. Why should we go and have fun only in these 5 or 10 areas again and again? Okay. So we have to restrict the area. Okay, this year, these 5 islands, not the other island. Next year, go to the other island, not this year. So it will help us a lot, and we have to give so many awareness for sure. For example, people love to go to the sea because they want to swim in the water, and also they are really afraid of darkening their skin, so they use the SPF 50, something like that. And they don't know it's poison in the sea. They don't know it's poison in the fish. They don't know it's poison in the coral. So we have to tell them, yes, of course, you can use the SPF, but if you have to use a ocean-friendly SPF, such kind of behavior, we need to educate them a lot.
Of course,
Okay,
yeah.
so
It's
yeah, so
Yes.
Pyiet, you mentioned that you have this arrangement for the rotational visits to the islands, right? Has
Yeah.
this already been implemented?
No, I cannot do that. It depends on the government. I can only advise them. I can only suggest them. Do it or not do it is the decision. I cannot do it.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
And also, offline, we actually did mention about dynamite fishing.
Yeah.
So perhaps you can share a little bit more about maybe a recent event which you actually know about, and how did the government actually dealt with it?
We are strictly prohibited the dynamite fishing officially, but the sea is really big. How can we protect all over the places? Of course, there are so many dynamite fishing in this every day, but we are trying our best to protect that kind of situation. For me, I've been in the experience of dynamite fishing myself twice in my lifetime. The first time is the dive site named the Buddha Rod. We went down to the bottom, and then the whole area is scattered with the dead fish and the broken corals. We found a lot of fish and skeleton of fish. I documented it and I revealed on the social network. So it's the first time, and the second time is that it happened while we are diving. So while we're diving in the dive site, we heard this very loud noise. It's actually is a little far from us, which make us safe. If it is close to us, we will be dead at that moment because of our pressure equalization and because of that sound. We will be dead at that moment. So, of course, we are not allowed dynamite fishing in our country and our area, but humans always trying to find a way to make something something they shouldn't do for sure. So we try our best, but it's still happening.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, now we're at the end of our session. So thank you, Pyiet, for actually sharing so much about Myanmar and the diving in Myanmar. I'm sure after this session, we will definitely have a lot of visitors arranging and
Sure.
their travel plans to Myanmar. I'm definitely one of them.
I'm really happy
So
to help you.
yes, thank you. So please continue with your great work in diving and to actually help the scientists and your government bodies to actually learn a little bit more about what's going underneath, underwater, because not many people, as what you mentioned, have access to underwater or actually know how to dive. Yeah, so thank you so much. And before we end this session, please remember to stay tuned to our next live session, which is at 9:30. We have invited a panel of technical divers and they'll be focusing on the contemporary issues in rebreather diving. So once again, thank you, Pyiet, and I'm really, really excited to one day visit Myanmar and to dive there as well.
You're welcome. Welcome to the
Thank
Golden
Thank
Land.
you.
Thank you, Pierre.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.